about the UAE. So let's get started. But before that, let me add that my name is Aayansh Singh and my brother's name is Aadyant Singh. And also be sure to like, share and subscribe to our channel and also hit the notification bell. Now let's get started. Okay guys, but before everything gets started, I want to give you guys a little introduction about us so you guys know who we are. My name is Aayansh Singh, my brother's name is Aadyant Singh, and we have been living in UAE for over 5 years now, and we had a pretty good experience in this country. So now let me tell you a little bit of facts about this country. First of all, let's see all the states, or what we call it here, the Emirates of UAE are. There is Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah and Fujairah, which are total 7 Emirates in the UAE. Now let's go to the national things. The national fruit of UAE is dates. The national animal of UAE is Arabian oryx. While the national flower of UAE is tribulus. The national bird of UAE is falcon. The national language of UAE is Arabic, and the national capital of UAE is Abu Dhabi. Now, let me tell you guys about a little bit of the landmarks of UAE. There's Burj Khalifa, which is the biggest building in the world. There's Burj Al Arab, which is the world's only 7-star hotel. There's Ferrari World, which is a very big world full of Ferrari cars and everything. Global Village, which will take you on a ride around the whole world in just one place. IMG Worlds of Adventure, where there are lots of rides and you can ride any of them, and it's very cool. Jumeirah Hotel it's very cool and very big too. Palm Jumeirah is a man-made island which is made in the shape of palm trees, which is also very cool. Now let's move on to the economy of UAE. The economy of UAE is very gigantic compared to its size. With an economy of over 1.62 trillion, it is the biggest economy in the GCC, obviously after Saudi Arabia. In the UAE, there are almost 9.631 million people living over here, which is over 90 lakhs. And all those people are only living in 83,600 kilometers of land space, which is a very small country. Now, let's go a little into the history, guys. The UAE was before just 7 different countries, which people at that time called the trucial states. But in 1971 or on 2nd December, all the 7 countries decided to join together, and the first 6 countries that joined together were Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ajman, Sharjah, Al Quwain and Fujairah. And Ras Al Khaimah joined later on, but the Independence Day or the Union Day of UAE is still 2nd December 1971. So that was the history of UAE, guys. So I told you some of the facts of UAE. Now we're going to have a little Q&A session with my father over here. So I'm going to call him over and we're going to have a little Q&A session. So let's go over to that. So guys, now let's get started with the quiz. My father is going to ask me some questions and I'm going to answer them.
How long you been in UAE?
I have been in UAE for over 5 years now.
How about your experience in the last 5 years in UAE?
I have experienced that UAE is a pretty safe country, and all the rules over here are pretty strict, so you don't have to worry about any crime happening with you.
What is the national flowers of UAE?
The national flower of UAE is tribulus.
What is the national language of UAE?
The national language of UAE is Arabic.
What is the national capital of UAE?
The national capital of UAE is Abu Dhabi.
What is the national animals of UAE?
The national animal of UAE is Arabian oryx.
What is the national bird of UAE?
The national bird of UAE is falcon.
Can you just highlight about the economy of UAE?
The UAE has a very ginormous economy compared to its size. Being the 2nd biggest economy in the GCC is a very big thing, right after Saudi Arabia, with an economy of over 1.62 trillion.
How about the population in UAE?
The population in UAE is over 9 million, which is over 90 lakhs, but only over 20% of those people are the people who are actually born over here and are local.
What about the landmarks in UAE?
The landmarks of UAE include Burj Khalifa, Burj Al Arab, Palm Jumeirah is probably one of my favorite ones. Global Village is also very good. IMG World, all those are very good landmarks of UAE.
Do you think about the economy is based on the oil?
I think economy should be based on oil, but most of the economy here is based on tourism because Dubai and UAE is like pretty tourist type countries. And now guys, I would like to add some words about a special landmark of UAE, which is the Abu Dhabi Grand Mosque. The Abu Dhabi Grand Mosque is the world's biggest mosque, which also holds to have the world's largest carpet which is kept inside it. Also guys, inside the Grand Mosque, people of all religions can go, which is a very good thing. It's a very big mosque which is made of complete marble, and looking at it is just so gorgeous. It just looks so good. Tourists go to it all the time, and if you are coming to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, wherever, going to Grand Mosque is definitely a must. Now let's talk about the weather of UAE. The climate and weather both of UAE are usually very super duper hot, with average temperatures in the summer reaching up to 50 degrees Celsius. Also, from May to October, the temperature in UAE is super duper hot. You will like start sweating in 1 minute after you go outside. It's super duper hot. But after October, November till March it's pretty good. It's not that high, it's skyrocketing. It's pretty moderate, and you can still go outside. And also guys, you will be surprised to know that all the bus stoppages, cars, and also school bus and also public bus are all the time 24 hours AC, air conditioned, because the high temperatures here, you have to keep air conditions everywhere in the house, in the bus, in the public transport, everywhere in the car, everywhere there's air conditioners, because in the very hot summers you can just not live without air conditioners. Now let's learn about the COVID situation in the UAE. In the starting, the COVID cases in UAE were skyrocketing with over 600, 700, even 1,000 cases every day. And over the half or even quarter of those were recovering. But now the situation has changed, and now it's basically the opposite that. Like right now, they're like coming every day, 100 cases are coming, over 300 people are getting recovered. The COVID cases in UAE were over 45,000, but now I am pretty sure they're just less than 5,000, which is a very good thing for UAE. And the government has also opened the country for tourists now, and they have also declared that they think that at the end of July or in the first week of August, UAE could be COVID free. So as you can see over here guys, these are 3 plants, and my brother really likes. He always likes to play with them, and they are very cool. We brought them from IKEA, which is also a very big store in the UAE over here. So guys, if you learned something new from this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and also hit that notification bell for post notifications, because we are working really hard for these videos, and liking and subscribing will be the best way to appreciate all of our hard work. Also guys, we'll see you in the next episode or in the next video, where we will learn about more things, and until then, bye.